Welcome to the JK Podcast. It's been a minute, and we're back though. We've had some events and life things happen. I'm back, Yavo's back, and we're here. So here's our podcast episode. But problem is, it's over 100 and what degrees right now in Florida?
It is too hot for me to be sitting in a porta-john in the hot, direct sunlight. I've been about that life. I've done that life. And I'm not passing out in any more porta-johns for the rest of my life.
But we have a mobile solution for this dilemma of Yavo not being an actual porta john or porta potty. So Yavo, display our portable porta
I
john
got you
solution.
covered. I'm going to set this thing up. I have no idea how to do
Can
this,
you
though.
move that closer to the camera?
Made in Japan.
What does that
Portable
say?
cardboard porta potty. This is the Amazon delivery of shitters, if you
Whoop,
would.
whoop.
So while I'm setting this up, I got a story to tell you.
All
You
right,
ready
what's the
for my
story?
story? So the other day, I was driving back through deer country. And it's
Dear.
Florida. We do have some deer country out here. And you ever have that moment, 4, 5, maybe even 6 cup of coffees in, and you realize you don't have a lot of time left. There's this is a dwindling moment of opportunity. And in that moment, I realized, well, this is not an option. This is 100% gonna happen. So with very little options, I looked left and I looked right, and I saw that there was not any like human civilization for another maybe hour and a half of drive time. I'm like, well, okay, this is happening. So I opened up my glove box, turned off the lights, pulled it into pulled the car over to the side of the road into some grass, into one of those, grass ditch right next to a little bit of some forest, and killed all the lights. Opened up my glove box, and there, because my wife loves me, a crap ton of Wendy's napkins. So I had the game plan. I had the emergency clock time, ticking down. And when I looked up, and this is actually right before I turned off the lights, I saw 4 raccoons and a goose run across the road.
And a goose. Were they running together as a gang?
That no, like in the same family, like 4 raccoons jetting across this road, and a goose falling behind them, not chasing them, like with them in the pack.
He was in
And I was
cahoots.
like, regardless of my situation, regardless of the fact that I was about to start making coffee stew inside my shorts, I was like, did that just happen? Like, did the raccoons get the goose involved in their story so that anytime the raccoons did anything, nobody would believe the story? Because what do you mean there was a bunch of raccoons and a goose? Was the goose in cahoots with them? Was the goose paid by them? Was the goose raised by them? I'm not really sure how this story goes. Were they raised by the goose? I mean, it could go either way. Either, like, no matter how you slice the
What time
story,
of the day or
I'm
night
like, there
was
was a
this?
split second, like, is this fucking real? Are we in the Matrix?
What time was
I don't
this?
know. Oh, and I didn't preface the story by saying this was at like 3 o'clock in the morning in Florida. It was at three
Nothing.
o'clock in the morning in Florida. I'm driving through deer country, and the only thing between me, the moon, and the stars apparently was like 4 raccoons and a goose run across the state or whatever the hell. I was like, what is happening right now?
I don't think goose are that
So,
nocturnal.
and I'll get to your questions. I will get to this question because I'm sure by the end of my rant there's going to be some questions. This is getting a little unhinged, but I don't think anyone listening is going to be that upset, right? So,
Well, we
because
do
if you're
have our
listening to
one
this, you
listener,
signed
your
up for this. This is the
mom.
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, and I've already disappointed her enough in my entire life, so she's not surprised by this at all. So anyway, so I grab my Wendy's napkins, jet off into the woods, kill all the lights, because if somebody does drive by, I don't want them offering to help. You know what I mean? Like, I want this to be a private affair. But sure as the day is long, and sure as there's moon, stars, and 4 raccoons running across the road, As soon as I, dropped trow, and when I say drop trow, I was like, it's super dark. I
The
don't want
car
to take a chance
comes.
at, and making a mess all over my shorts. So I went ahead and just put those on the hood of the car. The boxers, the shoes, everything. I'm just dick in the wind on the side of the road in the middle of the night in the dark, taking a dump next to my car. And of course, that's when three cars decide to drive by with their brights on. And I'm like, ducking. I'm just ducking on my car and be like, oh man, I really hope nobody offers out of the goodness of their heart to come on and help, because the only thing they're going to find
I mean, maybe you
is
need some assistance
me
there.
with a handful of Wendy's napkins getting busy on the side of the road taking a dump. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry for, it was one of those moments in a rom-com where you would expect five nuns, three school buses full of kids to drop by, followed by the local sheriff to look at me and shake his head in disappointment. Didn't quite happen that way, but it was very, very close. I'll just say, when I was out there in the woods, that is when I heard it. Out of all this craziness that already happened, all the raccoons, then there was the goose. That is when I heard it. I heard what I'm pretty sure was a pigeon cooing at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know that very distinctive pigeon coo that you don't hear in the middle of the night? Like, aren't pigeons asleep at this hour?
Keep
Don't know.
talking.
But it was the most aggressive pigeon coo I have ever heard. This pigeon coo was so aggressive that when I turned around, I shit twice as hard to get back in that car, put all my stuff back on, dodge the local brights of the road going by so I could get everything back on and get back on the road. Um, that is my shitting in the woods story of this month for sure. Aggressive pigeons, there was raccoons involved, and a goose. Yeah, probably one of those pigeons. Probably it was like an aggressive, like a coo. Like I was like, what the fuck? And it was like more than one coo. It was like a coo. And I was like, am I getting catcalled, or is he about to mug me and take my wallet? I don't know. But I know if a deer would have popped out that looked like
Maybe,
Bambi saying,
maybe
hey,
he
what's
was
up?
trying to
I would
woo
have shit
you.
myself even harder.
Maybe the pigeon was trying to woo
How
you at
does
3 a.m. because I've always heard it from other dads, and I'm a dad of two girls too, and I say this all the time to my two daughters. Nothing good happens after midnight. Nothing good happens after midnight. And here it is, 3 in the morning, all this whatever stuff is happening to you. And then on top of it, you have a pigeon trying to coo at you. Maybe the pigeon was offering an opportunity for interspecies erotica. I think Yavo froze. Uh-oh. I think we've lost Yavo. He might have to reconnect. But he had a pigeon. Internet dropped, so there's going to be a big cut somewhere.
AT&T.
Yeah, sure. So Yavo's assembling this portable potty. I still had questions or
Yeah,
statements rather regarding the pigeon and its
it was
cooing.
an aggressive pigeon. And then they're like, I want to know why the goose was living with raccoons. Like that's some other side of the train tracks nonsense right there that I don't think I've ever heard of before.
I think we're going to
I
need
mean,
you
it
to
is
go
Florida.
back. We're
It
going
is
to need you to
Florida.
go back sometime at 3 in the morning and see if you can get footage of this goose and family raccoons, Yavo. This
No,
is
I
your
think they'd beat
Bigfoot.
me up and take my money.
This is your Bigfoot moment. You've got to capture.
Yeah, and no one's ever gonna believe. No
I
one's
mean,
ever gonna believe me because the goose was hanging out with the raccoons. It's never gonna happen.
so here's a story I'll share from the odd news from the past couple of weeks. The everybody, I was just in Japan and I got to see Mount Fuji from a distance. It was a super clear day. But this story is a fantastical story. You would think that if you got stranded or you had to be rescued from Mount Fuji, because it's a big freaking mountain, because you can see it for miles and miles away. It's a huge freaking mountain. But the story reads, student rescued from mountain twice in 4 days after going back to find his phone. So he lost his phone, had to be
That's some
rescued. He's a
millennial shit if I ever heard it right there.
27-year-old Chinese student, went up onto this mountain, was probably not prepared to hike Mount Fuji at all. But he goes up there as a 27-year-old student thinking he's just going to go with his phone and be all right. ends up having to be rescued, and then goes back because it's all peak season. There's not a lot of people climbing it. He goes back to go get his phone, has to be rescued a second time.
That 100% sounds like he was not able to remotely delete his web browser. That's what that sounds like. He's like, nah, man, nobody can ever find out that I was watching Snoo Snoo with my phone.
But that's just
That's what was going on. Man. I'll tell you right now. He was watching some Snoo Snoo with his phone.
so yeah, so I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, so we haven't been able to do a lot of these JK podcasts. For those that don't know, I did get married. Got married in November, December. Took the wedding party on a nice cruise to the
Yeah,
Caribbean.
but the real news is this toilet.
Look at that. It's
Or
double
if
folded
I had to
cardboard.
origami to take a shit right now, I'd be in a rush. I'd be in a rush. Oh fuck.
So we had a great wedding cruise. Got to go a lot of cool places, do things together. It was a very memorable experience. And of course, as the new year turned over, Yavo and I got busy with a couple of crypto projects. So anyone, this is my shameful plug of the episode here. We launched a proof of concept, or just as a pilot program, called Crypto Asshats. And I think we might have mentioned it before in a previous episode of this JK podcast. But Crypto Asshats is kind of like a penny stock meme coin crypto. And then a few weeks later after that, look, he's got the seat there, the lid. Yes. Then we
Man,
launched the
this
big
is the
project.
if you ever thought Japanese people could do some origami, this is the Nintendo Switch origami way to shit yourself. This is amazing.
Yes. So then we decided to launch digital dinars. So the link will be in the description below for anyone that wants to check out digitaldinars.com. But we did digital dinars and it's been doing well. We launched it publicly about 33, 34 days ago on the 1st of May. Yeah, it was the 1st of May, 31st of June, 1st of May, 30th of April, and the 1st of May. But 1st of May, it's been running for 30 something days and it's done really, really, really well. It's exceeded at least Yavo's expectations. It's met my expectations. But I think Yavo will be first to say when it comes to this crypto stuff, it might as well be fantasy fiction for him.
I could say that about regular fiat money too.
So, digital knowledge, y'all, that's my shameful plug in this episode. So, back to Yavo and his construction of this origami Japanese cardboard portable toilet. How far are we here, Yavo?
Ta-da! All right. I gotta sit on it. I'm gonna try it.
Wait. Is it fully constructed?
It's about as constructed as it's gonna get, I'll tell you that much right
I
now.
just don't want, I mean, is it built? Does it have any specifications of how much weight it can tolerate and support?
Yeah, made in Japan for the Japanese,
Can
for
you
sure.
hold that backside of that sheet closer? Is that just the assembly?
Yeah.
Was the assembly pretty straightforward, even though it's in Japanese?
Watashi wa shirimasen,
Ah,
Yavo
you do understand
onegaishimasu.
Japanese.
Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and say Watashi wa America Jin desu. Skochi Nihonji onegaishimasu.
Well, if anyone's listening that understands Japanese, comment below, respond to what Yavo just said, because I don't know what he said. So,
I don't know what I'm saying either. I'm just saying stuff. It sounds real though. If you just say
no, so you
Toyota
got
enough,
me fooled.
it sounds like I know what I'm saying.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you sitting on it with your pants on?
Because you got to pay way more money than that to get me naked on camera. I'll tell you that much.
I tell you, you could
Okay,
tastefully, you could
I want to
position
tell you my
yourself
thoughts.
to drop trowel and not reveal any of the goods.
So my thoughts on the Portageon are: this is better than a shovel. Sitting on a folding shovel is a little harder than this. It's easier than sitting on a floating shovel. This is easier than doing the Japanese squat. So it's definitely, you still get the Western experience. It's definitely a one-time use. And this is not a diarrhea. This is, if I were to try to set this up myself or bring this on a camping trip or in an airplane or something like that, I would definitely, like, airplane camping, I would definitely bring some duct tape to tape this thing together, make it a little bit more stable. But yeah, I mean, this is basically pooping out of a hollowed out bucket.
Well,
Um,
there was actually special
yeah,
bags that were supposed to go in it, but the bags weren't available at the store when I bought it. But at the first
and
store where I first saw it, it had bags right next to it. So there's supposed to be plastic bags that go in it so that you can use it more than once.
a little bit. I think a pool noodle, which I just had lying around next to me. So a pool noodle and a bucket or some Tupperware would probably be about the same as that. I mean, the only advantage, I guess, is you could just burn the whole thing, right? I mean, you could. I
Well,
mean,
we need
there's
to
been
come
many
up
a Marine who burned some poop. It's a thing. The VA knows about it and everything.
we need to come up with a great way to end the season. So maybe we'll have a guest pooper on the podcast for
A
the
guest
season.
pooper.
A guest pooper.
I got speaking of origami,
Oh, what
this
is
is a
this?
this is a Japanese, since we're all on the Japanese thing, right? Very, very similar, right? This is a Japanese folding camping table, and it goes together with the Japanese folding hex stove. This is an entire camping stove. Fits in your pocket. It's really, really pretty decent. You put one of these in here to kind of make the wind go together. Anyway, you set this here, and now you can have like your own little barbecue, right? Um, oh, and just as I said, I'm not getting paid to say any of this shit. I just think it's neat. Um, but to take these tables apart, it literally comes together in little pieces of aluminum. And because the whole thing's aluminum, Marines generally won't break it.
Look at that.
And it's super lightweight. Kind of goes all together, fits in a little bag. And then when your wife yells at you to stop barbecuing in the backyard, you can pack up and go. Before she gets mad at you and asks you to do dishes.
Hmm. So what other? Oh, we lost video. We lost Yavo. There he is. Nope. It's coming back. It's coming
There
back.
we go.
So what else, Yavo? Have you been still beating up on kids in jiu-jitsu?
I mean, they beat me up more than anything else. Okay, so let's see. Literally this morning, I went out for a hike in the woods with a couple other Marines. We went bike riding, and sure as the day is long, I went ahead and brought out my flask and started, enjoying my own self in the nature because we're out in the woods and whatnot. Why not? And one Marine gets a heat stroke. One Marine has his bike break, and he ended up having to carry his own bike out of the woods. And it's exactly what you would imagine when you see somebody who, like, you assume that they do CrossFit because they're like just ripped out of their mind. You can tell they spend like 6 hours in the gym. And yeah, his bike broke. The thing, completely not rideable anymore. Dude just threw it on his shoulder, took off running, and we were like, I mean, he's still like the second fastest dude. And the thing, and when we asked him, hey, have you ever thought about, just because the bike doesn't function with the pedals anymore, you could still kind of ride it like a scooter downhill and stuff. You can still coast. That never occurred to him. He just picked it up and he's like, it's broke. I'm just going to run with it. Never even occurred to him that he could just, ride it down like a bike. That level of fitness is not only terrifying. I'm completely convinced that it's the reason why we keep winning, world wars and stuff like that. It's just because whenever there's a situation where you're like, I'm not sure what you should do, just pick it up, run, muscle through it, just make it work. That's
He
exactly what
adapted and
happened.
overcame. He over
Yeah,
adapted.
scary level of fitness. Dude's a monster for sure.
He over adapted.
Yeah, and when
He's like,
people ask
fuck
him what's he do for a
coasting.
living, dude's a firefighter in his day job. So like, I
Okay.
feel bad for any fires that put on boxing gloves.
He was like, fuck coasting. Coasting's for weak men.
I mean, I did send you the video of what it looked like, and it's just stuff's insane.
So anyhow,
Um, yeah,
you
that's
also
that's
did a
that's
flight
pretty much
simulator, right?
yeah. Yeah, so my daughter went ahead and she's now has her flight light or her pilot's license. My son and my daughter are playing on my flight simulator in my shed in my backyard pretty much every day. My son enjoys crashing it. My daughter enjoys using it as a learning tool. Although it's still stressful for her because she's still learning and wants to take it serious and wants to try to recreate her actual flying experience with the simulator. Meanwhile, James is just every crackhead in the sky just wants to take the plane up, find a building, crash the plane into whatever building he can find. He thinks it's the funniest thing.
There's some groups in the
And
Middle East that
surprisingly
would
enough,
like
when
to
he
talk to
wants
your
to land it, he
son.
can land it on a sandbar, which is pretty interesting.
So there are some groups in the Middle East that would be interested in talking to your son.
Oh man, but he needs
Wait, wait,
clearance.
wait, wait, wait. Homeland Security and the CIA have entered this chat.
I know, right? FBI has entered the chat. Because I mean, if FBI was entering every chat for every kid that liked to do Grand Theft Auto things inside Grand Theft Auto, I think we need a lot more staff for the FBI.
Yeah, we definitely need more staff getting Doge. So, what are your thoughts about the Doge and the Department of Government Efficiency? Since we just brought that up, they've kind
Well,
of
I mean,
silent for the past few weeks, just so people haven't seen them in the news as regularly.
I mean, Elon has said that he's done his thing and he's done with it now. He's going to move on to greener pastures, right? Um, and as far as Doge, I mean, they came, they saw, they tried to fix some stuff. They did fix some stuff. It was really funny
Bureaucracy
some of the things they
wins.
found. It was really funny some of the things that they found. And then after cleaning up so much crap for so long, uh, he's got other stuff to do, and there's way too much crap to clean up. So eventually, he's got to go back to his day job, right?
Yeah, I think
There's
when it
too
came
much crap.
to
It would take dozens and dozens of decades to clean up everything
yeah,
that's
I
needs to be
think what
cleaned
it
up.
was is when he started looking at Department of Defense and the DIB, the Defense Industrial Base said nope, and so he was like, all right, I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
go on. I got
the
better things to
DoD
do.
budget isn't even the problem. It's all the entitlement programs that they said they won't touch. Those are the things that you'd actually need to chop in order to fix the US's balance our budget and whatnot and actually fix all the problems. But if no, it'd be political suicide for any politician to touch that stuff.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to kick the can down the road. And then, 2035, 2038, people
But
are going to start
when you
missing checks and they're going to get mad.
but when you say political suicide, this is his last term, so why not try to shake up the
Oh,
game a
because you'd
bit,
need a bunch
right?
of other people to go on board with it and start voting things, and
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
need to push
yeah,
past legislation. It's not going to happen. It's
yeah.
no one's
There's still
no
too
one is
much
going to shoot
bureaucracy
themselves in
and
the
red
foot.
tape to cut through, and I get it. So
Yeah,
here's
it's
another.
no one's going to touch Social Security, Medicare because of that. It's if you're not going to touch the entitlement programs, we're going to run out of money. No one's going to talk about it until we are already out of
Already out.
money, and then
So
it's going to be a big train wreck. And
So
that's
what do
nothing
you
you can
think
do about
about
that.
his executive order to the Department of Treasury to create a strategic crypto reserve, not use a penny of taxpayer dollars to do so? So they're going to use frozen and seized assets from cyber crimes and other things that they've been frozen, and they're going to use that to fund this strategic crypto reserve. What are your thoughts on a strategic crypto reserve?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. What do you think is going to happen to the blockchain when quantum computing gets released onto Bitcoin?
So
Ah,
lots of people ask me
gotcha.
that. Lots of people say, well, blockchain is going to become vulnerable. Blockchain is going to get attacked all the time. If blockchain is newer technology than current banking systems, what systems do you think the first quantum supercomputers that are in the hands of bad nation states or cyber criminals, what systems do you think they're going to go after first? Are they going to go after the latest in encryption standards and technologies and safe measures? Or they're going to go after the old institutions that are still using lots of vulnerable systems, lots of subsystems that are vulnerable, and get real world money faster?
Hey, didn't the U.S. already update their the articles of where they would go to war for? Didn't they update that to include cyber warfare? But they didn't actually state like what kind of scale they would be willing to commit kinetic warfare for a cyber attack.
Yeah, well, that's part of if you're looking at those documentations, that's also related to the same group of documents around the Golden Dome. And I can't really speak to some of that right now at this point, but there is
Golden
a lot
Dome
of
is
talk
such.
about.
Oh, I'm allowed to speak to Golden Dome because I'm not read in on anything, so I'm allowed to speculate all I want.
Go
Um,
ahead.
Golden Dome, logistically, logistically, because of how big America is, right? With how big America is, and with how unprotected America currently is, Golden Dome's a great idea, but the amount of money it's going to take to actually facilitate that. Now, Americans, we have the ability to do whatever we want. If we set our hearts to it, it's going to happen. It's we
Yavo,
we have the ability to do
what,
so.
let me
However, the
kind of clarify.
logistical,
I want to just redirect your thinking a little bit, and then you can continue
sure,
your statement. When you
yeah,
think of Golden Dome, you're thinking covering the whole, United States and all its territories, right? But there's a
I would
reason.
say cover the North and the South
Thank you.
more,
Well, particularly
because you
the
got to come.
North.
Yeah, if you're going to fire a nuke, you got to come over Alaska. But currently, we have like what 14, I think, publicly disclosed rockets,
So,
or
so you're
systems.
you're right. Alaska, Washington State, maybe the tip of California, Maine,
Yeah,
New
we have
York.
Vandenberg, right?
That's
We have
why
those
he
sites,
wants Greenland is to have that outside part of that dome
and
because
I
you have
mean,
to think of the trajectory and paths of the shortest path to do the most destruction, right? So obviously any attack is going to want to hit New York, DC, those two places right off the jump. And if they want mass casualties, they'll try to go for something like LA, but LA is too far down south. That's too long of a flight path. So really, the shortest path with the most yield and destruction would be New York and DC. So obviously, the first part and phase of that program is going to be protecting that corner of the U.S. because if you look at the globe and its arrangement from Russia, where they would have the fastest flight path to hit something,
so
right?
we currently do have systems in place, right? We do have air defense systems, and I'm not an air defender by any means, right? But the systems that we do have in place, um, they have been audited, they have been tested and publicly disclosed. They have failed. Like they have like a 90 something. They have a ridiculously high. Don't quote me on the exact number. They have a ridiculously high fail rate. They've never like succeeded in their test launches, their testing, but they cost a lot of money. Also, when you have an incoming missile coming in, you don't just shoot one missile at it to try to kill the missile that's coming in. You shoot like four, right? So if we have only seven, we have 14 publicly disclosed rockets, firing, and Russia fires 300 nukes. I mean, okay, where do you want to protect? Because you're not going to protect everything with 7, 14 counter rockets, and each one of those rockets cost a boat ton of money. So even if we did succeed, we'd only succeed in protecting one little, you know, pre-designated target of space. We're not going to protect a random cornfield in Iowa.
So
It's not going to happen.
So about Greenland, the reason why we want Greenland is because when you think of nuclear fallout, because there's going to be, when you shoot a nuke and it explodes, there's going to be some fallout. It's better to happen in a very minimally populated country or big space like Greenland over that water in the Arctic than it is over Maine or over New York City. So if you have to intercept, you want to intercept it way, way over from people. And that's why Greenland, from that perspective, is very strategically important for that plan of that Golden Dome phase, if you will, to be implemented. And so that's why that makes the most sense. When it comes to the other side, Alaska is already so minimally, sparsely populated, except for the few major cities that yeah, they could sustain, some
If
fallout and some issues
we
from
were
there. So
able to, well, I do know quite a bit about fallout, like radiation itself. I would encourage people to read The Good News on Nuclear Destruction by a very famous Japanese guy.
can we
I'll,
just
I'll,
have
I'll
you
send you the link. You can
shamelessly
put it in the
plug your
description.
disaster book?
Oh, uh, it's all right.
No,
Uh,
plug it.
I,
Shameless
I
plug.
I have a book that I'll give Jim. You can put the link in the description here, and it is a book on hurricane disaster preparedness for any families who want to get your family involved in how to prepare for a hurricane. There you go, and it has everything you'd ever want to listen to from a crazy Marine doing all of his prepper fun stuff. And I try to make it fun for kids. And there's lots of good checklists and activities to do with the
And
book
there's
to try
the
to make
fun
it more fun.
activities for the kids because when the power goes out and the internet is out and their devices run out of battery juice, you got to keep the kids entertained with something. Their ADHD brains got to have something to work on, and it's
Gummy snacks, by
activity.
the way, is usually the answer before you start bringing out books. Gummy snacks make the world go round and will save a lot of domestic violence if you just give the kids gummy snacks when things start to get a little hairy. Um,
All right,
but yeah, just to
back
just
to
to kind of end
radiation.
my yeah, I'll steer away from the air defense stuff that I know, what I would assume is common knowledge. And when it comes to nuclear fallout, the good news about nuclear fallout is it's not nearly as dangerous as the movies want you to think it is. It really isn't. Gamma radiation, can't make a 90-degree turn, meaning that if you do some quick geometry, if that you remember back from high school, if you have a staircase going, down, makes a 90-degree turn, you can do some quick math from how wide that stairways is to how long the stairways is going down. And you figure, okay, well, if I have a staircase going down, that's 2.5 feet wide, and I have 6 feet going down. When I make that 90-degree turn, and if I make that 90-degree turn, 4 or 5 feet going that way before I get to the bunker, there ain't no gamma radiation getting to me through that door. Okay, well then how far do I have to make this thing under the ground to be safe? Now we're not talking from a blast that someone's coming to throw a nuclear bomb at your house, because that's not really likely to happen. And honestly, you're only really in some serious danger if you're like within
The
14-ish
blast
miles
radius.
from
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. So you don't live 14 miles from the White House, you're fine.
Yeah. And just to kind of
Really, you're
clarify
worried about
what y'all was
fallout. And
saying is
fallout,
that, yeah,
if you're 2 feet, if you're 3 feet of water, 3 feet of earth, 2 feet of concrete, 1 foot of steel, any of those combinations, you're fine.
yeah.
Which means if you go in your backyard with a shovel right now and you build yourself, a little underground tornado shelter, and you stick that thing 5 feet underground with a 90-degree little kind of walk caddy way to get to it, you're fine. Hang out there for 72 hours or so, wait for the next rainfall. Rainfall take away all the gamma all the radiation, because you're really worried more about fog, or not fog, dust and things like that gets kicked back up when you're walking through nuclear fallout. But really, really hang out down there for 96 hours or so, 72 hours, and you're probably going to be more
So,
way better than
Yavo,
most folks.
I want you to keep talking about your nuclear stuff for about 2 minutes. I got to run and be right back. So keep talking.
You he, hear that, folks? He stopped me and then wanted me to hit play back to back. All right, why not? So, nuclear radiation, right? Gamma radiation, which is this bad stuff that'll kill you. Can't make an 90-degree turn. We already talked about that. Have a hallway going down. Have that hallway make a right turn. Make the length of the hallway after the right turn double the length of the width of the hallway going down. So if it's 2.5 feet wide, 3 feet wide, let's say it's 3 feet wide in that hallway walking down, make the left turn, keep walking down the night, whenever you turn, make it 6 feet long, you're fine. The If you need to put it underground, great, go down, put it to 4 or 5 feet underground. Again, you're fine. You can hang out down there. As far as I'm really worried about, once I exit the structure, how do I maintain safe? You can go on Amazon right now and buy yourself some nuclear tablets, and they're not expensive in this moment. I think it's I not iodine tablets, nuclear. Google it. It's a little. You buy a bucket of or a pill bottle of 1,000 of them for a couple of bucks. They're cheap as dirt, and they protect against radiation. Helps your liver digest the radiation. I want to say iodine tablets. I want to say iodine. I'm sure that's wrong. Google will correct me. But if you jump on Google for 5 seconds, what vitamin supplement helps digest nuclear contaminants? I'm pretty sure it's an iodine tablet. You pop it in your mouth. Take one every couple of hours. If you're worried about it, you'll be fine. That'll help your body process whatever you do get. And then the majority of the radiation, what makes radiation dangerous is that it radiates. The isotopes die very quickly, meaning they die over the span of 72, 96 hours. So if you stay away from, if you stay underground protected or so for a weekend, uh, by the time you go back out, most of the radiation is kind of gone. So you're fine. So how long do I got to stay in a bunker? About a weekend. How deep do I got to make the bunker for fallout? About 3 or 4 feet. How do I keep the door safe? Because I got to get into the bunker somehow. Make a right degree angle, make the length of it double the width that you walk down the hallway, and you're pretty much fine. Get some
Well,
MREs, throw some Doritos, and maybe put some lights and stuff and some DVDs in a little blackout bag in case you're worried about EMPs, and just watch some DVDs, have a little Netflix marathon while the apocalypse is going, or try to rewatch all of the show Friends. Go for it.
so one of the things the Russians with their I forget the names, the Tsar Boomba, whatever they call it, they're really about high yield explosive power with their nuclear munitions. So obviously the destruction path and the radius, I think they showed maps of how much of New York it would destroy, and it would take out a large
Yeah,
part
you
of the
can use
population.
you can use the nuke map, which is what you're referring to. What if you go on Google right now, you hit Google Images and you type in air burst versus ground burst nuclear explosion, you'll see like an old black and white picture. It looks like a drawing of drawing of a 500 megaton bomb, which it's kind of a good benchmark to notice. Air burst versus ground burst, right? We tend to do air burst for pretty much everything, and so does every other country nowadays. When you think of, oh well, the nuclear radiation in Chernobyl is going to be around forever, and I got to worry about that.
That's
That's
different.
not that's not really true. It's not how a weaponized nuke works, as it turns out. Weaponized nukes, kind of explode before they hit the ground, generally speaking, so they make the biggest boom and hit the most people.
Yeah,
And then what happened in Chernobyl was
the
that it
meltdown.
detonated and got into the ground.
Yes. And the
Yeah,
radiation permeates everything. And so that long-lasting meltdown event create a lot of radioactive objects all around that whole area. So that's why that is going to have, when you hear terms like half-life and there's only
yeah, it
so much
irradiates
rinsing off
other
of
things,
water
but
you
not
can
the
do.
isotopes dying themselves.
Yeah. So yeah. So Yavo, enough about the radiation radioactive talk. Thank you for filling the air there while I had to step away.
Yeah,
Um,
playing Fallout gets really serious
it's really serious
when you
because
start googling
war
things. You're
never
like, oh man, I'm going to
changes.
learn a lot about this video game.
War never changes.
Yeah,
What are some things on the horizon for you, Yavo? I mean, we're about to hit summer, right? Today is actually June 1st. So this podcast is airing June 1st. What are some things that you got planned for the summer? Do you have any vacation trips, road trips, family visits, or y'all planning to do anything this summer?
we just came back from the Miami Keys, and we're going to be going up to Georgia and Virginia here in a couple weeks. Also, I'm still building a plane in my garage, so that's always going to be a kind of a slow, steady, boring development until it starts to look like a plane. Because right now it looks like just a bunch of scrap aluminum.
Could you, once you build your plane, could you take the portable Potty John onto the plane and do an episode from there?
I mean, if I can convince the internet to give me money to help me build a plane, I'd be all about it. So sure, I'll put a
Could you
porta
give
john in
me
the
your
airplane. Why not?
PayPal link? I'll put it in the description below. So if anybody wants to donate to Yavo's Play Project, his PayPal will be below. And Diane, I know you're only subscriber. You can also donate to Yavo's Play Project. But I would love to see your plane. You can have your daughter flying the plane and you on the portable cardboard Japanese portable toilet doing a podcast episode while you're in the air.
I mean, if this thing lasts that long, you might have to go get me another one because I mean that plane is going to take another 3, 4, 5 years to
That's a
build.
date.
Yeah, building an airplane is not a fast process. It's like an IKEA. It's like an IKEA piece of furniture, except I could be building a fancy coffin if I do it wrong. So I try to take it seriously.
Take it serious. Well, any other big plans? Because I know for me, I'm going to be in Germany for a conference in July, and then I'm going to be end of summer. I should be in, I think, Riyadh for Black Hat, and then I should be coming back to the States in November. I'll be in Florida in your neck of the woods again, so we'll get to hang out together again in end of November around Thanksgiving. So maybe me and Michelle will show up for Thanksgiving dinner. And I
Oh,
know
I mean, yeah,
your
that
wife
well,
cooks up a
in around
storm.
Thanksgiving time, I'll be in California.
What?
My mom's getting married, by the way.
No,
Bombshell. There you go. Drop.
no. We're gonna stop this engagement. We're
Go
gonna
for it.
we're gonna stop
May
this.
the odds be ever in your favor.
Don't do it, Diane.
Yeah, she's getting married. So I got to go out to California. They asked
This
me and
is
my
what we
family to be
gotta do,
part of the
y'all.
wedding. I
We're
just,
gonna
you know,
create a
went
new
ahead.
meme coin called "Don't Do It, Diane," and we're gonna see how much money we can raise for her not to get married.
You do you, boo boo. May the odds be ever in your favor. The But yeah, so that's definitely one of those things that's happening. And then the only thing other that's popping in my head that's quote unquote new with me is for the last couple of months I've been writing a book. I'm calling it the Eyes of Power. And when I have more or when I have something, I'll show to you. I'll let you all look at it and give it out to the internet, and they can critique it and tell me what they think.
Awesome, man. Awesome. How do you feel that in November you're gonna have someone else to call daddy?
Well, let's go ahead and let's. You know what? Having daddy issues has ruined many a people, and the good news for me is I'm already broke, so can't get any broke than what's already broken up here.
Okay, but will you call him daddy?
No, that's weird.
Dad? Stepdad?
I'll get back to you.
To be continued. Well, I don't have anything else I'm going to talk about. I'm glad if anyone's watching it, and with all our technical difficulties and nonstop talk about radioactive stuff, I'm glad you've watched till now. It's been a minute. We hope to get some more
Imagine
JK
Dragons a
podcast
good band.
episodes. Huh?
Imagine Dragons a good band.
Magic Tracks. Good man. All right. Well, hey, we'll be back hopefully soon with another episode of JK Podcast. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed like Diane, go ahead and subscribe to this nonsense because that's all it is. It's just two guys shooting the shit while on the shitters. So, yeah. One more time, let's get that picture of that cardboard porta potty before we end this episode. And there it
Oh,
is. He's on
oh
the.
shit!
Oh, no!
All right.
How do you say shit in Japanese?
Oh,
Just collapsed the cardboard toilet. How do you say
I
shit in
worked hard on this,
Japanese?
man.
Huh?
I worked. I origami this thing together. I didn't want it to die.
How do you say shit in Japanese?
You know what? Just shit. You just say shit.
I mean, what's a Japanese exclamation for that happening?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this minus a star. I still it survived its first sit, so I just assumed it would survive its second sit.
But you
I'm
sat
gonna say
rather
3 star,
aggressively, so I'm
3 star
assuming.
product. Still better than anything you buy from China, but definitely a one-time use thing. If you try to use it more than once, you might sit in your own pile of shit.
Can you reinforce it and make it stronger, Yavo?
Yeah, I can buy a bucket from
No, no,
Lowe's
no,
and
no. With duct tape and some epoxy, can you and some extra cardboard, can you reinforce the portable toilet? Can you try to bring it back? Okay. My
I think it's
challenge
a
to you,
one-time
Yavo,
use.
is in the next 2 weeks, reinforce this toilet and bring it back on the podcast stronger than before. Make
No,
the
we don't have the
Marines
technology.
proud. Can you adapt
We
and
don't have the
overcome?
technology, man. It's
You can
done.
do it. You can do it.
All right. And with that, I'm out.
I'm out. Hey, so this is our we forgot to talk about it during the podcast, but this is a golden toilet keychain with a lid that opens up. Let's see if I can get that lid open up, and the lid opens up. So, if you would like to have a JK Podcast golden toilet on a keychain, just comment below. Comment something about the episode. What did you like? What did you don't like? Comment anything. But comment, and then we will get a hold of you and mail you a golden toilet from the JK Podcast.